Hey guys, good morning or good evening, and welcome to 0 to 3. My name is Justin Bailey, and we're going to be listening with Justin today. Now, remember last week we talked about Romans chapter 2, where the Jews were looking down on people with binoculars, unable to see what was going on around them or take a look at their own lives. Now, we're going to pick up Romans chapter 3, and I want to introduce to you an idea or a concept called competitive advantage. It's why Bond's juiced. It's why there's all kinds of regulations around competitive sports, because they want to level the playing field. They want it to be as fair as possible. Now, the Jews weren't buying into that. They didn't want things to be fair. See, they believed they had the competitive advantage when it came to heaven, because they had the law and they learned it, they memorized it. In fact, so they wouldn't actually get in trouble with the actual laws, they created what's called a hedge around the law. So there are all these additional rules and regulations that they followed, so they wouldn't even actually get in trouble with the law itself. Now, the problem was that they used this as a criteria whether they were holy or not, whether they were going to heaven or not, and they used it to look down on other people that didn't follow it exactly the way they did. Now, Paul is saying, no, guys, that's not the way we do it. You do have an advantage to being the Jews, because for the last 2,000 years, you've had the law of God, but you've misused it. You see, you've used it as a way to attain personal righteousness, and that's not what the law is for. The law actually serves as a mirror, if you remember the mirror from last week, actually serves as a mirror to let you know how sinful you are and to let you know how holy God is. It's kind of this pecking order thing that establishes the whole God thing and the whole human thing, right? So what happened was these people had the law for so many years and they totally misused it. You see, I think what God gave them law to do was to become evangelists, the first evangelist, and tell other people about their God. Nations would see God and what he had done for them and would say, hey, you are so blessed. You've been given so much land. You've been given so much stuff. What is the secret? And they would say, you know what? It's the God of Israel. Our God is one God. He's the one and only God. But they didn't do that. Instead, they used it for their own gain, to lift themselves up and push other people down. Now, Paul is addressing this and saying, hey, I am a preacher to the Gentiles. I'm here after the death of Christ to let them know that, hey, the playing field is leveled. I'm here for you, Gentiles. You've been outcast for so many years. I'm back to let you know that you have all the benefits and all the privileges of being a Jew. But you know what? It only takes place in here, in your heart, not out here. It's not something that you use to judge other people, right? So, as an example, because he knows the Old Testament like nobody's business, he gives an example of Abraham. Many Jews considered him to be the father of their culture. So he says, you know what? Abraham himself was justified by faith and righteousness, given righteousness for faith, not because of obeying the law. See, in fact, he obeyed God and believed God 14 years before he was even circumcised. Now, circumcision was a huge thing in the Jewish culture because they were the only ones on the face of the earth that did it. It was a big obedience thing. It was a big law thing. And Paul says, you know what? Abraham, 14 years before doing this big obedience thing, was justified by his faith in God. So as you guys go out and as you live your life this week at school, at work, or wherever it is, and as you read Romans chapter 3, think about what God is after. He has sent the law to let you know who he is, to let you know who you are, and you ought to be thankful for the gift of his son. So thankful, in fact, that you lead an example as Christ did of saving everybody, seeing everybody as important and valuable. Have a great week. Talk to you soon.